of the class, we've already eaten some time, and we eat a little bit of time too before I begin. Uh, Now the time for our class is restricted to 1 hour. Please let's try as much as possible to stick to the time so that we can do what needs to be done and then we move on. And please, if you have any questions regarding the class of today, you can write it down, put it aside, and after the class, we will answer every questions that will be asked. Is that understood? So please mute your mics and your videos. And if you have a question, you could raise your hand from the chat and then we'll pick on you. Then you ask your questions to avoid noise and distractions so that others can hear your question and then get the right answers to that question which you asked. So setting up my screen now and soon I'll just join with my laptop. I was having a little bit of glitches. I had to reboot. So I joined in, I joined off. I don't know why, but I had to reboot because this Google Meet lost connection. So today we'll be talking on control flows. We have to be brief and quick and make it easier. So strictly in a pigeon I go to use. So if you know, so you know they use pigeon, you know they hear pigeon. I beg, find translator. Anything we concern big grammar, I want to put it aside. I said your hands that you want to raise now. Okay, those people raising their hands now. The question you want to ask, is it related to this class or a previous class? Because we don't want to bring out previous classes to this class. Those raising up their hand, what is your question? Mr. Andrew, you raised up your hand. Was it a mistake? Mr. Andrew. Anyways, please and please, everyone should mute their mics. Don't worry about my audio. Increase the audio from your end. Increase the audio from your end. Increase the audio from your end. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes,
I
sir.
can hear you, boy.
Loud and clear.
I said that. I think yes, I think you're joining from your system now, so maybe you have to unmute one and be able to so I can hear you clearly. And I would prefer if we go without maybe using earphones or whatever, so they just go direct. So that to make the class audible and then the recordings or whatever should be also be audible. And I've noticed that some persons who are raising up their hand, they are raising up their hand with by mistake or something thereabouts. So we can just leave that to the end of the class. Thank you.
Can I begin? Are you guys
Go
ready
ahead,
to
sir.
begin? Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So today we'll
Today
be
we'll be
talking
talking
on
on
control
control
flows.
flows.
Back to
Back to
reset
reset
button.
button. So today now we dey talk about control statements.
Now,
Now
some of
some
us
of
will
us go
ask,
ask, wetin be this control statement?
Sir, two of your accounts is you're talking from two Shedrack. So it's echoing.
You dey hear me now, ba?
Yes, we hear you clear, sir. Fire on.
All right. So, like I talk, say today we dey do what we call control statements. And now some of you go ask, wetin be this control statement wey we wan do? Wetin be control? Now, let me go a brief of explanation. Control statement na dey direct the movement and flow of Python programming. Take for example now, your military men, or for those wey if you go NYSC camp, for example now, you dey do march past. Somebody go dey wey go dey control the rest of the members wey dey that line, left, right, spreadsheet, and all. All these command wey the person dey give these people na directions. E dey control their movement. Na wetin we mean by control statements. There be words wey dey use take control the flow of Python execution. They dey use dem do logic decision making and looping. So we will talk more on these ones. Now, the key control statement wey we get for Python na if else statement, the for and the while statement, the break and the continue, and the pass statement. Then we get other ones wey they call the nested nested statement. Anyways, we'll move forward for that one. So today, basically now, we are beginning with the if statement, and we're going to digress bit by bit. So the class needs to be very snappy, and we'll get the information we need, and then we go answer any challenging questions. And please, as we dey move along with this class, make sure so you dey move along with us. Hope that one dey clear. Now,
sir.
for the first control statement we go work on now is called the if statement. Now, the if statement na be the most simple decision-making statement for Python. We dey use am take decide whether this particular line of code wey we wan put, whether the program go run am or e no go run am. Take for example, I ask you a question. I can say, okay, let me call somebody now. I say, Mr. Andrew, you go left, abi you go right. Given the condition, say you get transport to go left. Now, when you don't check this condition, you can say, okay, if this condition true, say, okay, I get transport, you'll go left. But if you don't get transport, you'll go right. Now be the simple if statement. You understand? Now be the simple if statement. Now the syntax for this if statement, now be if then your particular condition where you want give them, then you put the next line of code where the person go do. Take for example, Mr. Andrew, if I give you 500 naira, you go left, or you no go right or left. You will go left or you will go right. If I give you 500 naira, you go left or you will go right. Now I use this simple explanation because why? The if condition be say if I give you this 500 naira now, you go left. That is to say it don't dey true. That means you must go left since I give you the 500 naira. But if I no can give you, that means the condition can't dey false. You will go right. That's just the simple thing about this if statement. If I give you, you go left. If I don't give you, you do the opposite, or you never do anything at all. That be this if statement. Now, what did this condition mean? We say after the evaluation, go they true or false, then the statement will be under the program can decide to execute them. It go execute them when the condition they true, and when you know they true, you know go do anything. That's the simple if statement. Now, one thing we go know be say when we do conditional statements, as we digress in the class, we go understand say each conditional statement they work with what we call indentation. Indentation they work with. Indentation simply means say once this Python program run this code, you see say any statement they under the if statement and we indent am, we use tab, e go front. It means say that particular line of code or multiple codes we go write under, it dey that first statement we put. That's if we indent am. But if we put am for the same line, e no go accept am as part of the if condition. So we'll try something. We'll try one line of code now. We'll see. Now, for the first exercise, what I give now to illustrate what the if statement mean, we say I declare a variable where they call I. I can't talk say this variable where they call I, it carry number 10. Then I can't go to my next statement. Say if I greater than 15, I greater than 15 in bracket mean what? The condition. If I is greater than 15, then you go print 10 is less than 15. But if I no greater than 15, you go print I am not in the if statement. My completer. I am not in the if statement. So more run and more see the output. When I see what it bring come outside, Abi, he say I am not in the if statement. Why he bring and come outside be say we say if I is greater than 15, print say 10 is less than 15. But I no con dey greater than 15 because our I na waiting 10. That's why I go print the next line. Look at the syntax very well. This first print, the indent am for under the if statement. The second print, they no indent am under the if statement. It dey the same line with the if statement, which simply means say it dey outside the if statement. Like I said, the if statement be say if the condition dey true, it go run the statement wey dey under. Otherwise, it go do something else outside the block, or it no go do anything. Take for example, now I'm gonna remove this code. We'll comment am so that the code will come out. Now, if we run this program again, we no get any output. Una say am abi, we no get any output because why? Nothing dey under the if statement, outside the if statement. The first statement wey dey so under the if be say when it dey true, print am. But since e no dey true, there's nothing to print. This particular thing wey I do so wey the thing turn green, na comment I do. I did a commenting. Commenting mean say once the Python reach that place, e no go run any program. You just take am as normal explanation. You no go do any action put. That's the way we did dey remove some kind code wey we no want me run for Python. So let me take it back. And we go run am again. Wetin we see? I am not in the if statement. Now let's put I is less than 15. We'll run am again. See say it print I is less than 15. 10 is less than 15. But you can't go print the second
Hi, Cedric.
answer.
Please, can you make your
Now
screen
they
a
see the
little
trick,
bit
Abi.
larger?
Because of this
Cedric,
small issues where they make
hello,
people confused for this particular program. That is why we go come go the next thing they call the if omit this error wey dey here, because this line of code wey dey here now, e run o, the code is correct because why? This first line wey dey under the if, it is true, so e go run am. If statement once e don finish e code, the next line of code wey dey see, e dey run am together. E no dey segregate. Python dey run everything. As long as you don finish this particular block of code wey dey under the if statement, any other thing wey dey outside, e must run am. Except you can't get error. Now we can't give you error. But once error, no, they must give you the instruction where you say me you do. Now you say me you give her. If I remove this place now, we run them again. Because if they will just give us 10 is less than 15, you no go do any other thing again, because why? The condition is true. Now say am abi, simple as that. Now, in order for us to dey get multiple conditions under one if statement, so that we go dey give the program choices, na that's why we go move wetin we dey call the if else statement wey dey down. Now the if else statement say block of statements wey we dey under the if, and if the condition no dey true, no do anything wey dey under the if, go to the next line of code. But the if else statement come be say, if this particular line of code wey we wan do so, if e dey true, run am, leave the rest, go to the next one outside the block of statements under the if. But if e dey false, do this other thing. You understand? If e dey false, do this other thing. Simple explanation be say, I fit say, okay, oh, Mr. Arinze or Mr. Andrew,
I can't see your screen.
So I can't see your screen.
Hello, Sarah. Can you still hear me? Hello, guys. How are you guys? Can you hear me? All right. So I
Yes,
think
we
he's
can hear
having.
you.
Hello. I think he's having a network issue. He'll be back shortly. Is that understood?
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
Huh?
yes, it's understood.
hello
All
guys,
right.
can you hear
So
me?
let's just we don't cause more distraction. Okay, he's back. He's back. He's back. Please, let's use our mic that we can't cross.
Where did I
So let's
stop,
just mute
please?
our mic so that we don't cross. Cedric, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, please can you make your screen a little bit bigger or bold, something like that? Just increase the font so that
Okay, I'm coming.
those connecting maybe with a lower version or about little screen size can see your screen perfectly well. So maybe a Control Plus on your tab would work very well. Thank you very much. Apologies, guys. I think Idris or Idiri, there's no need on muting and muting. I don't know why you are complaining about muting and unmuting. Is there anything going on wrong? Idiri, there's no need. You say let me unmute. There's no need on muting and muting. Nothing. I don't. Nothing is going on wrong. The facilitator is just having a little bit of network issues and all of that.
Can you guys hear me?
All right, so Sarah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, how is my screen now?
The same.
We can't
It's
see
the
your
same.
screen at the moment. It's just the same.
It's even smaller now than before.
I'm trying to change some settings, but it's still the same thing.
Just a control, just a Control Plus on your screen, on your tab would
Yeah,
make some
that's
effects.
what I did. That's what I did. The more I do the plus, the more it reduces.
I think you're actually trying to increase another tab that you're not sharing, or is there? Is that it?
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
what I was
I
expecting,
think is it big now?
not yet.
No,
All right. So why it works on it? We're just doing that so that I know some persons might be joining with a smaller device, and so that they can easily see what's going on. I know they will not want to complain, so that we don't. And if you're using a system, this is going to be very okay for you, but that again is just the idea.
I
please,
think
I want to give.
I've increased my screen to the maximum it can take.
All right, so no problem. Then let's go ahead. We'll just let's not waste more time and just go ahead. Thank you. Go ahead now. Oh, someone give a suggestion. If
Okay,
you can
guys.
unshare and all right, we are seeing the adjustments already. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you
okay.
so much.
So all right, let's move on. So please, where did I stop? Who can remind me?
You are talking about the if
If else statement. You were just introducing the else statement. You're done
All right,
talking
okay,
about
okay.
it.
Let's go. So what I they talk before we say the if statement, we understand them say once the condition they true, run the code they under the if statement. Otherwise, no run the code, do something different outside the code. But the if else statement, they give us a second chance to say if Mr. A no work, do Mr. B. Otherwise, leave him, go do something else outside the if statement. No run the if statement again, just skip and go the next one. That's just the simple explanation there. If the statement they true, run the code where they under, jump the second statement, go outside the code. If the statement they false, leave the first statement, do the second statement, then continue with your work. Nine be the simple thing for if else statement. Now understand, ba?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
if else statement in Python, the syntax be say if, then the condition where they bracket. When the condition they true, executes this block when it they true. Else executes the next block when it they false. If the condition is true, execute this first block. But if it they false, execute the second block. If you don't come meet any of the condition, go to the next line of code. Leave the if else statement. Nine be the simple explanation there. Now let's try a program. That's the first program we'll do now. We won't run now. But with the add if else statement put. Now I say I is equals to 20. Now my first if statement say if I is less than 15, print I is smaller than 15. I am in the if block. But if I is not less than 15, print I is greater than 15. I am in else block. If this one no work at all, then the next line of code you can go say I am not in if and I am not in else block. Now let's run the program so that we'll get the output. Now, like they tell us, the print statement, now they show us our values. So we must include and put. Oh, sorry. We must include and put. So we don't run the program. The first one we say I is equals to 20. Our code will say may I be less than 15. If it's true, print it. I is greater than 15. I am in the else block. Now let's change this value. This 15. Let's put let's put 21 here. We'll put 21 more, so it will come outside. I is smaller than 15. I'll not change this one. Put 20, sorry. I'll put 20 here. I is smaller than what? 20. I am in the if block. But if this thing go back to 15, you know, go print this I is smaller than 20. I is, you go put I is greater than what? 15. I am in the S block. You know, understand? So we dey give am two choice. And after these two choices don't execute finish, you go to the next line of code where we see. That's why I comment this one, because you're not supposed to own DSF. Once you don't finish with this if statement, the next line of code where you see it must run am, which is this one. So that's why if I come out this comment now, it must print and join. We go use this command data they come so that we no go get confused. Now, now this one be the little alteration we will get between the if and the else statement. So instead of saying we dey use only the if, we go add else, give am two options. That's just the if and the else statement. Now the next control flow we go do now be what we call the nested if statement. We call am nested if. Why? Because now if statement wey dey inside if statement. Nested if statement fit carry multiple if statements all inside one if. If this condition dey true, do this program. That's first condition. We can put another if again. Can still run another condition. That be the if. So the nested if statement go run when it dey true, you can target the next if statement step by step. From there, you can run that one again. Once that one dey true, go run am. If that one dey false, you go do what if statement they normally do. So it's a nested if statement. I be saying now if statement where they say if another if statement. So if you the next then the next then the next then. If you put multiple if statements together to form one line of code, but no forget say your indentation matters a lot. Your indentation will tell you saying that this particular condition now we go run. So this is it. If condition one we run am. If it is true, you do condition two. Then you end the program. If it is not true, you go just skip all the if. You go do the next line of code the way others they do. So let's try a program where we say go explain what in this one be. Now, I say I is equals to 10. If I is equals to 10, do the next program. If I is less than 50, then print I is smaller than 15. You understand? I don't put multiple code for here. So if we run this program, sorry, let me comment this code. So it talk say I is smaller than what? 15. I is smaller than 12, 2. Did they see what we do, Abi? I give them two condition to print. I say I is greater than 10. I is equals to 10. Now, if this our I output is equals to 10, make sure say I is greater than 15, you print her. I is greater than or less than 12, you print her. But if this condition now, we'll put for here now, you can say if I is greater than, we'll put onto greater than most, so it will come out. If I is greater than 15, print this one. Then you come this one. So it will still run the same thing because of the if statement. So it will still run the same thing. Sorry. You will still get the same output. Why? Because now one if condition. Now we do. Now, to also get some variations to all this code, that is why we still introduce the nested if else statement too. It means say if else statement where they say if else statement. Now be this one. So if you still put else statement, if else join this, that's why I comment this code before, so that we'll give multiple options to do. But guys, more note say we can do as much as many if statements inside if statements. Now be the nested if. But don't forget your indentation matters a lot. Without your indentation, your codes will have many challenges. And they say I'm happy. Yes, print I is greater than 15. We don't run our own, we don't come out. Now see what you happen for here as I put the else statement. You leave the first line of code because it is not true. You go run the second one. So if I carry this thing, go back to less than, go run everything, go print the math for us. I is smaller than 15, I is smaller than 15, 12, 2. Then that brings us to what we call the if and else and if statement. All these are what we call the nested part together. If else statement combined with if else statement. Python will call an elif. Elif statement, now we will call them. But it's an else and an if statement combined together. Now, waiting this one is simply tell us we say you fit decide the multiple options where this thing will execute. We will say, okay, if this condition they true, run this program, leave the rest. But if you know they true, enter this other if statement. You understand? This first one will do now if nested if we give them two conditions. So you go run the two conditions because why the two conditions are true. But once we introduce an elif, elif is a combination of if. You put an else and if together. Some Python programs now they go run like this. Let me show now some example. I'm opening the text. Some Python, some other programming languages go do one like this. If let me put down, they'll come go to S with a tab and an if. You understand? Now be what you want to do. If S and if combine, but Python make am simple. Say we just put elif, elif. It's the same thing as this first S if we put hyphen. They go run the same thing, but for simplicity, we use elif rather than this S hyphen if. So let's try another line of code. Now we bring this code, come and say I is equals to 20. I carry the first code over that I put on here. I is equals to 20. Now, the first condition say if our I day is equal to 10, print I is 10. Else, if I is equals to 15, print I is 15. Else, if I is equals to 20, print I is 20. Else, print I is not present. Now, for this particular code now, where we do, where I do, where they here, so who fit give me the correct answer? Raise your hand, I go pick you. If you fit give me the correct answer now, looking at this code now, so they'll see and so what you know say go be the output. Just raise your hand, then I go point to me your answer. Isaiah, you can answer. I'll mute yourself.
Okay, I think I is 20, so it will print I is 20.
Why you think say go print I is 20? You fit defend that your answer.
Because I for the answer, the question, the program say if I equals 20, may print. If it equal 10, it go print I is 10. Okay, wait, oh no, it go print all of them because no, now only I is 20 go print because I is greater than 10, greater than 50, but it's equal to 20. So I is 20, now it go print come out.
Okay, but you know, look the line of code where I don't get any greater than for here. Everything are equal to equal to equal to. Any other person get answer? I dey see Mr. Paul. Okay, Mr. Paul, give me an answer.
Mr. Collins.
I is equals to 20. It will print I equals to 20.
Why?
I is 20 because the if statement, the if says that I is equal to 20, meaning that if it is equivalent, is the same thing as 20. That is when to print I is 20. So like the first one is equal to, meaning is even if it is not, it must matches. So if it does not match, it will not print that difference. So it will print I equals to 20.
Okay. We all agree with wetin dem talk. Abi any other person get a different answer? I see Mr. Collins' hands up.
Yes, Mr. Paul's answer is correct. It will take the conditional statement that says I equal to 20. The first the first condition is not correct. It will not print that. Neither the second one is correct. So the third one will be what it will print. I is 20.
Okay, okay. Una correct for the I is 20, but the defense now una no come for strong, but una dey try. Says me say una dey follow wetin we dey do since. Now the defense wey you suppose give me be say all my condition wey I put for here now, the program go run am. But if you look the first line of if condition, you go compare with my variable. No be the same, go jump am. You go the second one, the second condition.
Hello, good
Hi
evening.
guys, so I think he's having a network issue. So let's just give him a minute. I think he's having also network issues.
This
She'll
network
be back
condition
shortly.
is it in Nigeria alone?
She'll be back later. I don't have answer to that question. I don't know. So ask. We don't know. We don't actually know the answer to that question. But sometimes, it's area wise and the rest. God's favor, you said you raised up your hand. Don't worry. Sometimes when you're teaching, it's sometimes it's the first person you see and thereabout that you're calling. So appreciate that you are raising your hand to also answer, participate in class, because it's very important to participate in class. Very, very important. Some of you, by your participation in class, it's easy to see your notebook and your folder and just say, oh, I know this person. This person is always in class. So that's why it's good to always participate in class. Okay.
So can I
So
still answer that question?
I think the answer has already been given now.
I've answered it already now.
So let's hopefully maybe another one will be there to answer. So Cedric, are you back? Please confirm if you can hear me.
Can you guys hear me? I'm back.
All right, fine. Thank you.
Okay, so sorry for the glitches. What are the faces when I just open Google Meet? But anyways, my explanation be say you go compare every condition we give, and you must compare with this variable. Then you go come give us the one with accurate. You will give us the attribute we say may bring out once it jam the one we be say they accurate with that variable. That's why this if and else if condition we they put them together to give this program multiple choices. Okay, so that's just little information we did there. Now, something dey wey una know, I know say una they don't teach una. I be the way say
So I can't hear
somebody
you,
go
sir.
point am out. Una dey hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Sir,
Yes, very
we can't see your screen or your screen lagging.
Abeg, if you know say you dey hear me, just go work on your audio. So if you know say you no dey hear me, work on your audio, please. So now be the line of code. Now I be dey wait for something, for somebody to tell me say, okay, sir, we'll try something different. But I know why we not try am. Now see our output is I equals to 20. But ma change this variable now. Let me put 50 here. If I put 50 here, who fit give me the what be the answer we'll get? Who fit answer that question?
I is not present.
It's not present.
Thank you.
I is not present.
But more try am. I is not what? Presence. Now you see, say everything where we they get from the beginning of this class come if s, and the multiple conditions where we they get, they are all linked together. But the only touches where they get be say we they limit the choices where the program they give us or they give anybody. So if they give you anything, okay, write this also thing, make we do, make we see say okay, if this thing dey correct, make we run am. If you know dey correct, make it do something entirely. Now this particular line of code we go use to try am until we get the desired result. So this is the function of the if and the elif statement. Now with all this what we don't do today, we don't touch everything we concern control statement, the if, the else if, the nested statements, the if, else if, and others. There are other control statements we will come for other classes. But for today, we no go get information overload. We go stop for here. So questions with the few time we get, maybe answer questions. Any question, raise your hand, I go pick. I dey see Collins.
Yes, good evening, sir. Thank you very much. Well, my question is regarding data validation. From
Okay.
what we have been taught yesterday. Though I tried
Okay.
doing something, but it will not work out. Let's say, for example, when we are using the input value, that we are imputing value directly instead of assigning it the way we are doing it. That
Yes.
in the text box that's supposed to take strings. If I should put an integer, it should prompt me and to tell me that the value I've entered is not correct. So I don't really know how one can do that using Python.
Okay. Mr. Collins,
Yes,
your
boss.
question now, eh? Now one code entirely. Now see the trick. Let me change this. I want this is a question. I wanted to use I want an answer. Say we fit give different values for this program rather than assigning. That's why I know so the teacher na input yesterday. Now I want make person call the line of code to accept input for me. Mr. Collins, call the line of code to accept input for me.
Just we just need to write a impute. We open a parenthesis, there is a bracket, I enter the value. What you need to impute. Either we use the F strings or we use just normal input value.
Okay, wetin will the impute? Wetin we wan impute now? Wetin I go put for the input?
Now, okay, there is a string.
Eh?
String. One should be string. There's a user name. The other one should be integer, which is age.
I know I work with that your own now. I want let's work more work with it in this class. Now, what I go know be say the input statement they work like the print statement, but input they accept values, while print they bring out result. This line of code up for here, so enter number, you go print am out as output, but you can't give cursor with a blink. You go say so that you go put the number where you want. More run this code, make you see what you will get. You say what? Enter number. You see the dialog box where there be. This dialog box where they now, it go say me you put value, and until you put a value, then this program will take stop. If you not put any value, you no go stop.
Let's
So
try
let's
knife
put
it.
something like
Knife.
let's put something like AS. Which it tell you say I is not present. What you put now AS? We no put integer, we put string. He accept them. Okay, some of now they confused, but not they confused. He accept them because why? Python they with the input command that we see for here. Eh? Python they accept what we put inside. It go automatically detect the data type you assign into that variable. You can use that data type and the variable to compare your line of code. He accepts this one because this AS will write. Why? Because we know specify the data type. That's why we need to specify the data type. Like your question, we say, oh, you put instead of carrying string, you put instead of carrying integer, you put string for the age. Then it's supposed to prompt you. You know, go prompt you until you specify. Say, prompt me. Tell me, say this is what I put and the wrong data type I put. Until you give her that instruction, then go take done. If you no give her now error, you go just see. You just show you one error, one long error. Now let's do impute. Let's open another bracket. Let's do we'll run this one. You see what it will give us. Come oh, sorry.
I think it's integer first before input.
Yeah.
Integer.
Thank you for the correction. Now we don't specify say the data type na int. When we put AS back, what you will get na error. You understand? Until you put that int. Until you put that int, now it will run for you. So if you dey get this error, just look and say you the data type you declare, maybe you put. Okay. Mr. Collins, you dey follow Abi?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Good.
Like this other
Now,
option that you that print, if something like this be entered, it should
something like
prompt one
waiting.
and say that you've entered the wrong value. Enter so and so value.
Okay. It's good you notice it. Make we not jump past our stage. And also, this your question now they confuse somebody else.
Noted. Thank you, sir.
I can
Thank you.
explain, but it will take another
I
class.
understand for other persons.
Now, to answer your questions now, like you said, if you want it to be prompting messages, when you put int, you say, oh, put this one. When you say now, no be the variable, you go print out value. When you say this one is available, you put out another value until you put the initial variable is
Right.
supposed to put data type before it will work. Now, why we get some codes like the try and accept, that one you go learn now, not today's class.
Said
I say now why we get what
not yet.
we get what they call try and accept error. That one too will explain errors for you. Instead of giving you this long error self, you go say you enter the wrong value, put it. But if you want attribute to user, that's where you now put your conditional statement. As I put this one enter number now, I go open bracket inside this I enter now. I go put an inside a conditional statement. This control flow, this if. You understand? So
Yes.
more leave that one. More will not go too much stress our head with those one can
No
extend the
problem.
class. So keep your questions, so that write it down and note it down. When we get to that section of the class, then that question will be answered while the class is going on. You understand? We'll show you how to do that.
No,
Okay, for now, just understand what these conditions is. You will use them to get that your answer you want to get.
no problem.
All
We'll
right.
keep try to
Any other
track it.
question?
Yes, there's question.
Okay. Shoot your question.
Okay, my question is looking at our CTAS now, which is the code and the
Okay.
results we are getting. All of them
Yes.
are on the same page. Is it possible to get our result, which is the output, on a different page while our code is in another side? It's like we are just mixing up everything altogether. A kind of separating the code from the output on one side.
Okay. Separating the code
Let me answer
and
that
the
question.
attribute.
Let me answer that question.
All
Can you
right.
hear me?
Instructor
So
Gosling.
what you are using a notebook. You are using a notebook to write this code, and this is how a notebook is designed. A notebook is designed that when you write your code on a cell and then you run it, it gives you out all the answers at display the answer after the cell. What you're trying to instigate is this: is there any place where I will write a code and when I'm running it, I'll be seeing the answer coming up from another place? Even if you are using, you can use your command prompt to write your Python code. And then when you use your command prompt to write your Python code, the same answers will still come. It can still come on your console. There's no call console. It will come in out like that. That's one is when you are running a py script. But again, there's a little bit of trick you can do to it where you begin to call modules like OS, and then that will be able to clear off the screen. And as you're engaging with as your code is running and getting interaction, a particular information that you want to display will be displaying on the screen. When you get to a certain point where you feel this one should go to another place, you clear off the screen, another one will come. But hey guys, it's possible, but that's advanced for you now. For now. So it's good you're thinking smart, but it's there, but it's advanced for you. I don't know based on your if your level of programming, but it's possible in Python. But that is when you're working with a console. As long as you're working with a notebook, this is the style of the IDE. All right, so I think I've made justice to that question.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, but
Okay.
technical questions demand technical answers. So that's the answer I can give to you. So you could try maybe other IDs. Sometimes if you're using VS Code, once you run your code with VS Code, you see your answers coming from your command prompt. There's a VSO has what we call terminals. It comes out from your command prompt. So you still have some write-ups and all of that, but you see your stuff. So that in that one tab is even okay. You are writing your code at the top of the as at the ID, and then you're getting your result at the command prompt. So it's just know that it's a matter of ID, and then if you want to format it very well, you have to put some technical aspect of your programming skills on it. All right, but it's not as complex as when you advance,
Thank
you
you.
learn more.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
Thank
so,
you. Thank you, Instructor
so, excuse me, sir.
Goskift.
Excuse me, sir.
Answer
So,
your ask the question.
so what I'm understanding is that wherever we wanted an answer to be, it's possible the answer can come out from there. Not, let's say, this way it is now.
No, that is not what I said.
Um.
That is not what I said. What I said is that it is the IDE. There's what we call environment. What's this word of this thing? Development environment, something like that. Every platform, every software you're using to write your Python code, they have the way they print out their outputs. Spider does his own differently. But this one you're using is called a notebook, a Jupyter notebook. And once you write your code on a Jupyter notebook, the next thing you see is that you can see your answers immediately after you run the cell. Or you can decide to say, okay, I want to just run all my code here. I go and print the answer on another after
Yeah,
different cells.
yes,
For
yes,
example,
exactly.
I can declare a variable. Somebody is talking. Okay. So if you you can decide to say, let me do all my codes on this cell. I want to print the answers that I want to print on another cell, or maybe after 5 cells or 5 block. Yeah, but you get your answers there. You understand? But it is the IDE that you're using. That's the frame, the software you're using to write your code. So what I would say, your assignment is simple. If you're asking this question and you have more interest, look for other software that they can use to write Python code. Download them into your system, run them, and then see the difference in all of them. So that's the best answer for you.
Okay, sir. Thank
And
you.
you know, it's PyCharm, not PlayCharm. PyCharm. Anaconda is a notebook.
Hello, sir.
If you want to download Anaconda is a, there's no need doing Anaconda where you can just do collab. And VS Code has integration of both PY scripts and IPYNB notebook, meaning you can create a Jupyter notebook with your VS Code, and you can create maybe one of these days when we're in class, and maybe one of these days I'll just show you how VS Code looks like, how you can create notebooks from it, and also how you can just run your normal scripts. Maybe one of these days. The class is still, we are just beginning, so let's not chase out people who are learning, because there's a person that you are saying this thing they don't understand, their head is already. So let's just allow the class advance and learn in progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, instructor. So, guys, please
Excuse me.
let's keep our questions
Excuse me, sir.
minimum.
Hello,
Hold
sir.
on. Let's keep our questions to minimum and remove all the technicalities. I have VSC code on my system. I have PyCharm. You can download Jupyter. But for simplicity and to help everybody flow along, that's why we use Colab. Most of these IDs you are using, like the VSC code, you need to download different extensions for you to run different sets of codes. So to avoid those bulkiness and those stress in downloading, your system will go crash if you're not strong. Use Google Colab. You will understand the syntax and the process of each code. Then, when the class is not going advanced, you can decide to use other uh, things, other ideas, and all. You will get projects which you can work with that. Okay, so let's keep our questions to minimum, not to scare off those who are trying to flow along and learn Python for the first time. So, Mr. Chidera, your question regarding today's class.
No, sir. No, sir. It's just
Okay,
normal question. I'm just trying to ask, this Python code we are writing, how are you going to show in our browser? That is it. Are you going to use, is there need to join it along with HTML?
no,
That
no,
is
no,
my
no, no, no,
question.
no, no. Which browser are you talking about?
I'm talking about look Google or Chrome.
I'm using
How are you going
a
to appear
Chrome.
as website?
Hold on. I'm
Or
using.
is it that
Can you hear me?
Python is a back end like
I'm
Can you
coming.
hear me?
I'm coming. I think people are overthinking this thing too much. And there's a way. There's what we call guilt trap or thought trap for students who are just they're just overthinking it. Um, there's nothing like what you're trying to say is that how do I integrate Python into other things? That's your question. It's not how it's going to show your browser. There's no way Python is going to show your browser. The fact you're seeing Shedrack working with Python using the collab on a browser doesn't mean Python is showing on his browser. Do you understand? So that's is like a good strap. What you might simply mean is how do I integrate this thing into other things? But like we said, guys, let's keep this thing minimal. I always tell students, calm down. When we get to where it's more advanced, because it's topic that reveals more details. I cannot be teaching if statement and I'll be saying too many technicalities. Mm-mm. When I start teaching you data structures, I start teaching you. If I start, we'll start teaching data structures, and we are teaching maybe functions and OOP, object-oriented stuff. You will run. When Nami go use technical, come out, you go run before run. So just calm down. Don't think it too much. Just relax. By the time you are learning and learning, you begin to hear, oh, okay, this is where you can apply this. This is where you can apply that. This is where you can apply this. So just supposed to ask questions that are related to this class only. If there are no questions related to this
So,
class, let's call it a day and then go. I don't want us asking
uh,
questions that are not related to the exact topic for today.
there's one
Please.
question. It is related to this.
Let's keep.
It's related to this. The question is related to
You
this.
say?
In the next 3 minutes, please.
I said the question is
Any
related to. I want
questions
to talk
related to
about
this
the so
class?
indentation. Indentation.
Okay, yeah,
Is
go
there
ahead.
a
Go ahead.
Okay.
particular
So
space?
that go ahead.
Is there a particular space that we must put on the sprint? Can we see shift it further or what? I don't know.
Okay, let me
About the
answer your
indentation.
question. Okay, let's do something. Let me close this attribute. Indentation space does not matter. So long you stick to a particular pattern of doing your indent. Now, this indentation you are seeing here, they are even much. I can take it back. Simple. This is what Python will give you. Let me even reduce it again. This is what Python will give you. You use tab to do your indent. Tab. Okay, to give it much more visual appearance. Use tab. You can reduce it. You can decide to take it to London. When you run the code, as far as that particular line of code you are indenting, you follow the same indentation for that particular line of giving statement. This one I indented in London now is under if statement. The program will still run. Okay, program will still run. It will give you your answer. The only issue now is if I now remove this indent now, you now run the program, you will get an error because the error is telling you indentation error. It is expected an indent because why? After an if statement, it's supposed to be an indent which will now carry the instruction that the program is supposed to run. So you must put an indent to tell the computer run this particular line of code under this first given condition. Okay. So any if, like this elif you are seeing now, is there. Okay, I can decide to even indent it and put it under the if statement, but I will also shift this print to be under the elif. You run your code. Now, if you have any errors, you correct it. Invalid syntax. You work on your syntax. Let me correct this one. So whichever way you decide to, okay, let me put it to, let me run this one like this, it will work. So long that particular line of code you are doing, yeah, that statement is under that given condition, under that control flow you are doing. If I shift this elif, I will shift this print because I want this print to run under this elif. If I shift this elif, I must shift this print. Otherwise, you will get the program will tell you, oh, there's an error, like it told me now, syntax error, invalid syntax. So you must follow a particular line. Okay. So whichever space you want to give the space, but make sure you indent it and make sure that line of code is there. You can decide to make your program much more expandable so that you will not confuse yourself. That's it. I know it might, I just do it this way. You press it. Okay. So make sure you stick to indentation. That's why I said at the beginning of this class, control flows. Python uses indentation. It uses indentation to specify a given set of statements. You must always put it. When you get control statement, loops and all, that indentation, it matters a lot. Otherwise, your program will not run. You have an error and you start debugging each error. Hope that's answered the question.
Yes, sir.
Any other question before we call it a night? Last question for today.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you so much for today's lecture.
Okay.
And please, I don't know if you can do a recap for us again because initially my network was bad when you started. I have to switch from one phone to another.
Okay, no problem. A short
Thank you.
recap. That will be the last. And please, after the class, everybody fill your attendance. Make sure you fill before you leave. Make sure you fill your attendance before you leave. Okay. So a short recap. We did what we call the if statement, the if else statement, the nested if statement, and the elif else statement or ladder, as you can call it. Now, if statement is a simple decision making statement used to decide whether a certain block of code will work or not. Simple. Now, when you put the if statement, the particular code under will run. If it's true, it will run. If it's not true, it will leave that particular line of code like this one and we run this one because this one is not under this. That's why indentation matters a lot. This one is under this, under the if statement. So it will work if it's true. If it's not true, it will leave it and move to the next one. That's the if statement for you. Then the else, if else statement gives you two ways, two conditions. You can specify and tell the program to do two things. If one doesn't work, do another one. The if statement says if this one doesn't work, leave it and continue your work. But the if else statement says if this one doesn't work, try this other one. One of them should work. That's the if else statement. Now, if I is less than 15, print and do whatever is inside under this if statement. Indentation matters a lot, please. That's why you see it here. If I shift any of this one, go back now. Sorry, if I put and go back, you will have an error because it is not well indented. So that's why indentation matters. If you want it to work under here, indent it. Then else statement say if this first condition no work, skip all those things, come this S, do this one with the here. That's the if else statement for you. Then the nested if statement we say we put if statement inside if statement, multiple if conditions. But one if then another if, another if then another if, just like that, just like that. You can do as many if statements as you want. Play around with the codes. Use and play. And the way you tell learn. If you don't use and play, trust me, you'll be confused. So use and play around. You now they'll give you an assignments. You now go they play with these things so that all the errors where you they get, you go they understand them, you rectify them yourself. That's what the nested if. So you can't do this example. So you see this if now, they under this if, this first if, these two if, they under this one if we there. This is the beginning, the first if, these are the second if statement. Then we put our else where they under the if, they terminate the code. So when we run now, and we take get option. So that's the if else statement for you, the nested if statement for you. Now we come down to call the if elif else ladder. If elif statement means say with the next if s inside if s. If s statement, we want add and join another if s statement. Now where the elif they come in. See the syntax. If condition, you put a line of code, then elif condition, put a line of code. Then the last thing is the else statement. Like I said, this elif is the same thing as let me put another new code here. Elif is this elif is the same thing as else hyphen if. They will do the same thing, but for simplicity, Python uses elif instead of this else if. So it uses what elif. And don't forget, whenever you are doing a control statement, there's a colon there. A colon must be placed after your giving condition. Take for example, I put a condition here. Let me put anything here. You must put a colon. Once you press enter, it will tell next thing is a tab automatically. Python gives you a tab, you type whatever you want to type. This colon simply means say whatever they under, now they here. It must come with a colon, otherwise you have an error. You just start debugging. So the elif state if elif statement we say we they add if else to if else, nested if else statement. So that's why we call it the if else ladder. If elif else ladder. That be this code we put for here soon. If you do multiple elif, that be the nested way we dey see so. Now we say I is equals to input, enter a number that is an integer. Then compare the first one. If number is equals to 10, print this one. If you know day is equal to 10, go to the next line of code. If is equals to this, print this. If you know day equal, you see why the if else statement say give you two conditions. If elif now with the combiner to give multiple conditions, when one no work, try them step by step along the ladder till you get to the final one where go work. If all of them no work, print s I is not present. So that's the short recap of everything we did today. Okay, so
Thank you. So,
Thank you, sir.
that's all for today's
can we
class.
just
And
give him a
good
round
night.
of applause? Let's thank you very much for a wonderful time. Well done, well done. Also, the attendance is on the chat and it has been pinned. So let's do our best to fill attendance. Once again, we are going to share the resource on the Telegram group in terms of the notebook. So please do your best to go through it and then understand. So tomorrow we'll meet and then we'll begin another wonderful section, another wonderful.